Hi, this is Lisa from America's Test Kitchen Gearheads, and I'm here to answer all of your great questions that you put on our bread machines video. Okay, the first one is, how well do bread machines make gluten-free bread? I used to enjoy making bread by hand, but have really struggled with getting the gluten-free loaves correct. It'd be nice to be able to make loaves as easily as buying them. Yeah, I know a lot of people actually have purchased bread machines for that purpose, and they can control what they're eating and really, bake the bread fresh. I think the enclosed environment of the bread machine helps the loaf get its shape and structure as it bakes, so it's a really good way to do it. Both our winner from Zojirushi and our Best Buy from Hamilton Beach include a few gluten-free recipes in their manuals, and the Hamilton Beach also has a gluten-free setting, which is really nice. I compared it to the regular cycle. It has the dough rise a little bit longer, it gets kneaded a little bit more, and the temperature is a little bit different as well. In all, the cycle takes about an hour longer than a standard bread recipe. But who cares? It's a bread machine. You set it, forget it, go do something else, and fresh bread is baked in your house. It's great. It's a great way to go if you need a gluten-free bread. Well, someone else asked, how do the machines work at high altitude? And what adjustments need to be made for handmade bread recipes at high altitude? I understand that high altitude can really change your baking outcomes, and depending on exactly what microclimate you're in and where you are, what elevation, anything above 3,500 feet really starts to change, and as you go higher it even changes more. So there's no kind of one size fits all answer for how to bake at high altitudes. You have to be willing to do a little experimenting. That said, Zojirushi, our winner, includes a few tips for baking at high altitudes in its manual, increasing things like decreasing sugar and yeast slightly. We also have some tips on our website, americastestkitchen.com, about baking at high altitudes. We actually took a bunch of test kits and recipes out to Colorado and went up in the mountains and baked and tried all these things and figured it out. It's because of the air pressure, and less pressure means that things behave differently. They boil at different, water boils at different temperatures. Whipped eggs will expand more quickly. Sugar becomes more concentrated. So you can, and it's much drier, so you can end up with drier baked goods. For instance, if your stuff is coming out a little dry and hard to knead, you want to add a little extra liquid. An extra tablespoon or two will do it. If anything comes out tasting too sweet and dry because the rapid water loss, it concentrates the sugar, cut back the sugar a little bit. Hold back a little of the flour in bread. Don't be adding a lot of extra, and you just want it to just add only as needed. If it blows out and becomes gummy, use less yeast or shorten the baking time. We've also found some terrific tips on Colorado State University Extension online. Obviously, they're in a position to really study this, and they have some really good ideas. Someone else asked, why add the salt after the other ingredients have already been combined in the bread recipe? Is it to help the yeast? Well, we hold back on the salt to give the bread more spring and lift. You mix the flour and water and then wait a little bit. And that rest is called an autolyse, and it lets the flour absorb water and encourages the gluten development. And then once you add the salt, that kind of inhibits those things. And so by holding back a little bit, especially in this quick recipe where if the whole thing is done from start to finish in 2 hours, you want to give it every advantage you can. So that's why we did that. We held back on the salt. Next, someone asked for advice about a hand mixer, and they said theirs is getting kind of old and they enjoy baking but don't do it every day. What kind of mixer do I need? The best mixer really depends on what you want to bake. If you make a birthday cake once a year, a hand mixer's fine. You don't need a big stand mixer. It's not going to be enough for kneading dough. We actually tried that in a recent test of hand mixers, and it's a real struggle because the dough is kind of stiff. We made bagel dough, which is very dry and stiff, and the hand mixer on that was a wrestling match, and you're really trying to control it. In that case, you're much better off with something like a stand mixer. But a hand mixer is going to be great for like whipping cream, or egg whites into meringue, or creaming together butter and sugar for baked goods. So, if you're doing simpler things that are a little softer, more liquidy, hand mixer is going to be great. And it's nicer and easy to store. It's usually much more inexpensive. If you're doing heavier duty, bigger batches, stiffer doughs, more complex doughs, a stand mixer is going to help you a lot. And that said, if you can't afford any of that and you have no space, your hands will do a great job kneading. People did it for millions of years, and there's a lot of bread you can make with just a bowl in your hands. So get in there and make some bread. Someone said, why was I using the flat beater instead of the dough hook to knead the bread? It seems intuitive to use the dough hook to make dough, yes. But as I mentioned, we wanted to make a quick bread, a quick yeasted bread from start to finish within 2 hours. It's an easy sandwich loaf. And basically to make that work, you've got to build a little structure, and believe it or not, the paddle really gets in there and moves that dough around. It's a kind of a wet dough, and it gets in there. It shortens the time you need to mix and gives the dough more structure so that it rises into a nice shape. That's what I've got for now, but thank you for those great questions. Keep them coming, and we'll see you next time on Gearheads.